Good morning, Jennifer Shumway with My Perfect Body Now Fitness Boot Camps. I'm going into my series where I'm trying to get people to get out of funks or get out of being stuck in patterns or behaviors that are self-sabotaging. And that could be anything. It doesn't necessarily need to be with fitness. It could be in your relationship with your children, your boss, your spouse, your relationship with the way you care for your home, your body, whatever the case may be. So I wanted to go ahead and give you some, maybe some little tips on the 10 top things to maybe change the way that you view or what words you use. So the word excuses, all right? Nobody likes to say nobody likes to hear stop making excuses, and a lot of times we say that, or you see fitness memes on Facebook that or Pinterest that say, don't, no excuses, blah blah blah. A better way to reframe that would be ultimately that currently at this time I have an opportunity in front of me, and I'm going to either take it or I'm not at this time. And then the next step would be to figure out, how am I going to feel if I don't take that step right now and do that thing that I want to do? I don't even know, to be honest with you, how many excuses I've been able to make up over the years when I don't want to do something. I am probably the queen of it. But I've chosen to be a little more forgiving with myself and then really get into the bottom line of it. It probably is an excuse, and I'm not trying to flower it over and cover it with another excuse, but I look now at how bad am I going to feel afterwards if I do make that excuse, if I do say I can't do this because of this. And so a lot of times I end up finding a lot of my own answers by just talking about that out loud. Number 2 would be self-doubt. So I was blessed for some reason with kind of being a little fearless in my life. I have been at times maybe even reckless would be a better word, especially in my youth. As I've aged, I've learned to curb that and not be as careless with my body and with my health and with my choices. But there's been plenty of situations in my life where I've been very, very reckless. And I've learned from those, because that's been a hard road to recover from. You don't really get away with, there's still consequences that follow from being reckless. But self-doubt. So when we look at situations and we start forming opinions about how it's going to work out, for some reason, I don't know why I was built differently that way. I've always been like, you know what? I'm scared, but I'm going to do it. I have tended to have more self-doubt for others. Like, I worry about others more. And so when I see somebody making a choice and I see that they're going down a certain road, I tend to worry about them more. And so I'm working on that piece of my weakness, which is to have more faith in others. But self-doubt is truly a decision. It's a decision to live in a state of anxiety or to fear that something's not going to work out that you're doing. I remember 10 plus years ago when this boot camp was presented to me, I didn't necessarily have doubt about myself. I was worried about how people perceive trainers, and I was worried that people would expect me to be tiny and skinny and fit and small, and I didn't want that pressure. I've always loved sugar. I've always enjoyed doing whatever I want, having big piles of mashed potatoes and gravy, and to think that somebody was going to be watching me do a sit-up and my belly roll of fat rolling up there with me as I did that sit-up was just like, I didn't want the judgment. And that was why I didn't want to be a trainer. But there was a nice presentation of multiple, like a spreadsheet almost, of reasons why it would be good. And I'm really grateful that I ended up taking that challenge, because ultimately it has completely changed my life and I'm very grateful for it. But once I was standing in front of the people, I hid any idea in my mind that I wasn't going to be able to do it. I just was like, I'm going to be able to do this. This is going to be fine. And that's the attitude that you can have too with anything that you do. For example, today, the workout was, in my opinion, and according to everybody at the end of the workout today, probably one of the toughest workouts we've ever done. it was ridiculously difficult. But that being said, there were so many alternatives given so that everybody could participate. Even somebody who was 49 that came up to me afterwards, who brought her young son with her, who's active and a tennis player. It was his first day today. He busted through it and did fine, and she's 49 and came up and asked me how old I was, and then said, "Are you like a military drill sergeant or something?" Because that was brutal. But she said, "But I'm so glad that, she was able to complete it." She was given alternatives. She was given easier ways to do things so that she still is feeling like she's part of the group. So don't have that self-doubt that you can't do hard things, because everything can be done in a strategically modified way to get you to the finish line. Also, fear of failure is right there with it. So that's number 3. Don't believe that the outcome's going to be negative. Don't believe that it's not going to work out. When I started these boot camps, I remember kind of fighting along with my business partner because we were just different. We didn't have probably the same vision as each other, but at the same time, I learned a lot from that person. But then once I broke off and I was running it as myself, I started setting goals that I felt were kind of crazy, but I wanted within a few months to have 100 people standing in front of me. And I was determined to make that happen. And then within a few months, 100 people were standing in front of me, in front of my class. And did that happen every day? No, that was for a special family event, but I made the goal and it happened. Number 4 would be procrastination. I think a lot of people with procrastination have a decision to say you're a procrastinator. That is a decision too. I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate. No, maybe you're somebody that just takes on too much and you overextend yourself and you fall short of being able to get everything done because you keep putting too much on your plate. My husband's been one of the greatest assets in my life for helping balance me out, because I used to work 22-hour days, and he helped me to understand that sleep is very important. Family time is so important. He has really taught me the value of family relationships, and I've really enjoyed learning that from him. And by removing such mindless clutter and busy being that was in my life, he's taught me I'm just not a procrastinator with certain things except my taxes. Now that I'm still a procrastinator. Check, gotta work on that one. Anyway, the next one would be, I don't really like this people-pleasing thing, that you should avoid people-pleasing, but I believe we should go out and seek after ways to make people's lives better and serve others and lift people. And I live that and I love it, and that's just who I am. So I don't want to say don't be a people pleaser, but what I mean is, because, I love pleasing my family, and sometimes my family has benefited from that people pleasing. They've been able to have maybe some shorter cuts in life because I really love pleasing people. But at the same time, when it gets to the point where you're people pleasing, where you aren't taking care of yourself, or you don't know how to balance your life out between helping others and helping yourself, if we've all heard it, I'm sure if you haven't, then if an airplane is going down, you don't run over and put an oxygen mask on somebody else first. You put it on yourself first so that you have oxygen and so you're strong to go help people. That's just why I do boot camps. That's why people do the boot camp, is so if they take care of themselves first, thing in the morning, get the workout done out of the way, or come at night after their work, then they're set to go help out others because they've taken care of themselves, and it will carry you a long way. The next would be negative thinking. I talked about this yesterday. I don't want to get into it too much. It really is a decision and a choice. I mentioned it at boot camp today. There are people standing in boot camp, and I can sometimes just feel it. They have this derogatory attitude while they're working out. They don't want to be there. They really hate every minute of it. That's a decision. Those are decisions to think and believe while you're doing something that this stinks and this is hard. You literally can stop saying those words in your head and start saying things like, "Wow, I am an amazing person. I cannot believe it is 5:30 in the morning and I'm standing here in a park filled with people working out. I'm probably part of like 10% of the human society. and really change how you view yourself, not becoming boastful and prideful and thinking that you're better than others, but just, I'm doing hard things and I should be really proud of myself. Really, that will really change things. Negative self talk is the same as negative thinking. So even if you tell people all the time, oh, I'm an alcoholic, I drink all the time, or oh, I'm a sugar addict, negative self talk is creating identities that are not very uplifting of who you are. I would choose to not say those things any further, and that's what I've chosen for myself. If I ever say things like about maybe weaknesses I've had, I usually say it in a joke, but honestly, I've given up that. I don't like when I do that. When I do it, and if you catch me doing it, I do quickly go home, get open. I'm a big scripture reader, and I will open up the scriptures and I will correct that behavior and find my happiness, because I don't believe we're here on this earth to be miserable. Judgment of others. Technically, when you judge others, you've got one finger pointing out, you got three fingers pointing back at you. More than likely, what you're saying to others, it's actually applicable to you. Whatever you are saying, it's what you need to work on for yourself. If you say, I can't believe how rude that person's being to me, are you being rude to them about how rude they're being to you? When we choose to be offended by others and judge them, we become the offender. And I can't tell you how many times I've been in the car with somebody who, is, kind of tailgating somebody and then saying, oh my gosh, hurry up, speed up, and where I've done it myself, and then realized that I'm thinking that person in front of me is a bad driver. I'm a bad driver because I'm so focused on what they're doing that I'm not worried about what I'm doing, and I could be making people behind me miserable. So judgment of others, just put it back on yourself, take ownership of whatever's going on, and get off of talking about others. And then 10, negative people in your circle is something that you hear a lot of. Get rid of the negative people in your circle. I don't really believe in that. I choose to be a ray of sunshine in people's lives that are negative. I've been guilty of saying it, and I've had people that I've lost connections with. A lot of that had to come with, I needed to clean up my life, and in order to clean up my life, I needed to get clear of people that I had bad habits with or had created habits with, and I wanted to get well, and so I needed to maybe have a fast from those people. And then it's just been difficult reconnecting with some of those people, and I'm sure that our paths will cross again, and I'll be able to have those connections again. But we can choose to be a ray of sunshine. We can choose to lift people up by our way of staying the positive person when that person is a negative person. We don't have to be correcting them all the time. I've been guilty of that big time with my kids, my husband, the people closest to me, and I'm learning that that's something that's a self-mastery thing that we learn with time, but just keep working on it. So, those are the top 10 things that I could say that will help you to be more successful. I know this is a long video. I hope that it found you in a better place and that you can take even just one of these tools and have it help you in your life. And, I'm not going to get away from pointing out, come join my boot camp. It's free for 4 weeks. Right now there's 3 weeks and tonight and tomorrow left. So it's not quite the full 4 weeks if you want to start right now, or you can start August 1st. We'd love to have you. And I'm going to be posting a video and some pictures of people who bring in their kids. It's pretty amazing, and I'll post that later so you can see that people with kids are still coming to boot camp with 108-degree temperatures. So anyway, have a great Pokemon day, searching for all your Pokemans. Is that how you say it? Pokemon? Anyway, have a great day, you guys. Bye.